Fungi are the group of eukaryotic organisms that includes microorganisms such as yeast, molds as well as mushrooms. These organisms are classified as one of the traditional eukaryotic kingdoms. Fungi are the principal decomposers in ecological systems. Most fungi are inconspicuous because of their small size, of their structure and their cryptic lifestyle in soil or on dead matter. Fungi includes symbionts or parasites on plants as well as on animals. They have long been used as the direct source of human food in the form of mushrooms, truffles and leavening agents for bread, and even in the fermentation of various food products such as wine, beer and antibiotics, and also various enzymes. Some fungi are the significant pathogens of humans, plants and animals. In this video, let us try to understand the general characters of fungi, the nomenclatural recommendations as well as the classification of fungi. Mycology is the study of fungi. Fungi are the eukaryotic, achlorophyllous, heterotrophic organisms that produce extracellular enzymes and absorb their nutrition, and they are unicellular or multicellular organisms which may reproduce by asexual and sexual spores. Fungi are among the most diverse organisms on earth and are considered only as second to the insects in species diversity. Fungi inhabit almost every place in the environment, and humans are exposed to these organisms in various fields of life. Now the general characters of fungi. All are eukaryotic. That means they possess membrane-bound nuclei, that is containing chromosomes, and a range of membrane-bound cytoplasmic organelles like mitochondria, vacuoles, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. Most are filamentous. That means they are composed of individual microscopic filaments called hyphae, which exhibit apical growth and which branch to form a network of hyphae called a mycelium. Some are unicellular like yeast, and protoplasm of a hyphae or cell is surrounded by a rigid cell wall and is composed of primarily of chitin and glucans, although the walls of some species contain cellulose. Then many reproduce both sexually and asexually. Both sexual and asexual reproduction often result in the production of spores. Their nuclei are typically haploid and hyphal compartments are often multinucleate, although the Eumycota and in some yeast possesses diploid nuclei. All are achlorophyllous. They lack chlorophyll pigments and are incapable of photosynthesis. All are chemoheterotrophic. That means they utilize pre-existing organic sources of carbon in their environment and the energy from the chemical reactions to synthesize the organic compounds. They possess characteristic range of storage compounds like glycogen, sugar alcohol and lipids. They may be free living or may form intimate relationships with the organisms. That means they may be free living, parasite or mutualistic, that means symbiotic. Classification of fungi. The taxonomy has a dual purpose. First, to name an organism according to some internationally accepted system, and then to indicate the relationship of a particular organism with other living organisms. As our knowledge increases, the classification changes. Even the name of the organisms do not always remain stable, because as we learn few facts about them, it often becomes necessary to alter our concept of the relationship, which in turn demands reclassification and change of name. The classification of fungi is still in a state of flux. A stable or ideal scheme is yet to be proposed. In accordance with the recommendations of the Committee on International Rules of Botanical Nomenclature, the name of the division of fungi should end with mycota. Similarly, the name of the subdivision should end in mycotina. The name of the classes should end in mycetes. The name of the subclass should end in Mycetidae. The name of the order should end in Eels. The name of the family should end in a suffix ACE. The genera and the species have no standard endings. The name of an organism is binomial. Now, the classification of fungi based on the type of spore production. Based on the organization of the vegetative thallus, the morphology of the reproductive structures, the way of the spore production, and the particular life cycle involved, the kingdom Mycota is classified into following divisions: Phycomycetes, that is lower fungi having saprolignia, rhizopus, mucor, albugo, pythium, etc. Then Ascomycetes, commonly called as sac fungi, which includes yeast, aspergillus, penicillium, neurospora, pezziza, etc. And the third one is Basidiomycetes, commonly called as club fungi, having agaricus, polyporus, puccinia, eustylago, lycoperdon. And last one is the Deuteromycetes, that is fungi imperfecti or imperfect fungi, having Cercospora, Colitotrichum, Trichoderma, Pericularia, Fusarium, etc. Class Phycomycetes is characterized by: it includes the simplest type of fungi. They have simple thallus, which is unicellular or cenocytic or aseptate filaments. They reproduce sexually by formation of zoospores or non-motile spores. Sexual reproduction is isogamous or heterogamous, which takes place by gametangial contact. The diploid phase is represented by zygote. Phycomycetes has been classified into subclass Eumycetidae and Zygomycetidae. Subclass Eumycetidae. The Eumycetes range from a primitive unicellular thallus to a profusely branched filamentous mycelium. Many members of them are terrestrial and obligate parasites. Asexually, they reproduce by biflagellate zoospores. Sexual reproduction is oogamous, that involves the fusion of male and female gametes to form oospore. Oospore undergoes semiosis to produce haploid biflagellate zoospores. Subclass Zygomycetidae. This group is named Zygomycetes because a diploid resting spore called the zygospore is formed during the life cycle. They are mostly saprophytic, and some others are parasites on plants and animals. The vegetative body is mycelium, which is well developed, profusely branched and cenocytic. The absence of motile sexual or asexual cells. The asexual reproduction takes place by sporangiospores, aplanospores, or by conidia. Sexual reproduction occurs by conjugation of gametangia, resulting in the formation of zygospore. Class Ascomycetes. The species of Ascomycetes are called the sac fungi because they produce sexual spores called ascospores within the sac like ascus. Ascomycetes are mostly terrestrial, occurring as saprophytes or as parasites. They have well-developed branched septate mycelium except yeast, where the yeast is a unicellular fungus. Asexually, they reproduce by non-motile spores like conidia, oidea, or chlamydospores. The sexual reproduction takes place by the fusion of gametangia of opposite mating types. There is absence of motile cells. Examples are yeast, penicillium, aspergillus, etc. Class Basidiomycetes. The members are saprophytic or parasitic. They produce the basidiospores at the club-shaped basidium during sexual reproduction. The mycelium is highly developed, profusely branched and septate. The mycelia are differentiated into two mating types. There are two kinds of mycelium, that is primary mycelium and secondary mycelium. Asexual reproduction takes place by fragmentation, budding, oidea, conidia, or by chlamydospores. The dikaryotic cell is formed during sexual reproduction. The absence of motile cell throughout the life cycle. The examples are Agaricus, Puccinia, Lycoperdon, Ustilago, etc. Class Deuteromycetes, that is fungi imperfecti. These fungi are saprophytes as well as parasites. The parasitic fungi cause serious diseases to plants, animals, including human beings. Some of them are unicellular while others are multicellular. They reproduce asexually by conidia along with some other types of spores. The sexual reproduction is entirely absent. The asexual stage, that is imperfect stage in Deuteromycetes, is well defined, but the sexual or the perfect stage is absent in the life cycle. Therefore, they are called fungi imperfecti. Examples includes Cercospora, Trichoderma, Fusarium, Colitotrichum, etc. Classification of fungi by C.J. Alexopoulos in 1962. So he included all fungi under one division, that is mycota, fungi with true nuclei. He divided this division into two subdivisions. The first one, Myxomycotina, that is wall-less forms having one class called Myxomycetes. Then subdivision 2, Eumycotina, that is true fungi with 8 classes as well as one form class, that is Deuteromycetes. So the various classes coming under this Euchomycotina are Chytridomycetes, Hypochytridomycetes, Oomycetes, Plasmodiomorphomycetes, Zygomycetes, Trichomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, and Deuteromycetes. Classification of fungi by C.J. Alexopoulos in 1962. The characters of the division Mycota are the organisms are microscopic, unicellular or filamentous. Thallus with chitinous or cellulosic cell wall containing typical eukaryotic nucleus. Reproduction takes place both asexually and sexually. So this division has two subdivisions, Myxomycotina, that is the wall-less form, and Eumycotina, true walled fungi. The subdivision Myxomycotina, that is the plant body, is a plasmodium. The class Myxomycetes is characterized by the vegetative phase, that is the plasmodium. The reproduction takes place by a small multinucleate spore. The subdivision Eumycotina is characterized by where the vegetative phase is either unicellular or branched mycelium with distinct cell wall. Hyphae are cenocytic, aseptate and multinucleate or septate. Each cell may be unicellular, binucleate or multinucleate. The reproduction by asexual spores or sexually by means of gametes. This subdivision has been divided into 8 natural classes and 1 forum class. Classes of Eumycotina. The first one is Chytridomycetes, characterized by motile cells with single whiplash flagellum placed posteriorly. Then Hypochytridomycetes, where the motile cells with single tinsel flagellum placed anteriorly. Then Eumycetes, where the vegetative phase consists of multinucleate and well-developed mycelium. Motile cells have 2 flagella, that is biflagellate consists of 1 whiplash and the other tinsel type. Plasmodiomorphomycetes, where the multinucleate thallus without cell wall remains parasitically inside the host cells. Motile cells are with 2 whiplash flagella of unequal length. Zygomycetes, with well-developed cenocytic, that is multinucleate and aseptate mycelium, grows either parasitically or saprophytically. Motile cells are absent. Class Trichomycetes, it is characterized by multinucleate, simple or branched thallus, mostly parasite on arthropods. Then Ascomycetes, where well-developed mycelium with septate hyphae. Ascospores are produced endogenously inside the ascus. Then Basidiomycetes, where the well-developed mycelium with septate hyphae. Basidiospores are produced exogenously on Basidium. Forum class Deuteromycetes is characterized by well-developed mycelium with septate hyphae. The sexual phase is unknown. The reproduction takes place mainly by asexual means.